Our vision has been our guiding light since we founded the company. And very simply, it's to enable human artistry to guide algorithms in creating beautiful music. And the key elements of this vision are humans creating music. We are a generative music platform and we do use AI, but we've always put humans and artists at the front of that. It's always been about the human element in the creation of music. And we see our platform as a new medium for artistic expression. Not a way to replace and disenfranchise, but a way to enable and empower artists. So why generative music? Why not continue making the music the way that we have been to date? Well, for one, generative music makes it possible to make continuous music that plays continuously without repetition. It's hard to do that without algorithms that can guide the music journey. It also makes listening to continuous music effortless. You don't have to pick the next song or the playlist. The algorithms can take you on a journey instead of you having to be the one to decide what's next to listen to. And if you can expose those algorithms, you can make them interactive and allow the people listening to music to take part in the creation of the music. And if you learn enough about how they interact with the music, you can start to understand what they like and what they don't like, and you can start to personalize the music for the listener using those algorithms. And for the artisans, the sophisticated musicians, you can expose those algorithms and make them programmable so that artists can express themselves to the degree of sophistication they want, allowing artist and AI to coexist. So before we get started, I just want to do a quick poll. I'm a casual listener. I like to put music on when I work. I put music on when I relax. I put music on when I play. If you consider yourself a casual listener like me, raise your hand. Great. I'm also a music enthusiast because I curate playlists. I spend a lot of time, an embarrassing amount of time, making playlists. And I share those playlists with friends. I covet DJ sets that I get on a USB drive and I hoard them like they're gold. And I'm willing to pay for a better music experience. I'm guessing everyone in this room is in some capacity a music enthusiast. Raise your hand if you're not a music enthusiast. Okay, at least you guys are paying attention. And then there's the professionals. Maybe you produce sounds for a living, or maybe you record music or play recorded music for a living, or perhaps you mix music live. If anyone here is a professional, raise your hand. Not surprising, given the conference today. So all of you are our customers. We created AIMI to simultaneously allow casual listeners, music enthusiasts, and professionals to coexist in our ecosystem. And to do that, we had to create a model where the casual listener could effortlessly listen to music. And what we mean by that is sometimes you just want to hit play. And you want music to be part of your experience instead of you trying to create the experience with music. This is what you do when you're at work and you want music in the background, or when you have a dinner party and you want to just have music be part of your experience. That's been our focus over 2022. If you go to aimi.fm, you'll see over 60 different music experiences that were created by us and by artists that we've partnered with. All of these music experiences are at a caliber that we would call good to great. And what I mean by that is before we put anything up on AIMI, we needed to know that the music was good to great. We weren't happy with music that was just passable. There's a lot of academic exercises around AI music that create passable music. That wasn't good enough for us. As I said in our vision statement, beautiful music was always part of our mantra. Once we were confident that we were able to create music that a casual listener would consume, the next stop was music enthusiasts. Our focus in the last half of 2022 has been on interactive music. Interactive music is the precursor to personalized music because it's through interacting with music that you can understand a user's tastes and take that understanding and personalize music for them using things like AI. Today we're launching our interactive music player. I'll give you a demo of it. It'll show how interactivity can be fun and gamified and accessible to people who don't have a background in music, who aren't sophisticated musicians. They might not know about music composition or music theory or sound production, but they can still interact with the platform, and through that interaction guide our machine learning and AI in curating not just the sounds that are combined to create music, but also the way the algorithms are parameterized. And then finally, how the sound that those algorithms create are mastered. For the professional, our focus is on creating artisan music. And what we mean by this is replacing the automation of our AI with the sophistication of an artist. So where the AI might curate sounds for me to create an experience, an artist could step in and create an experience by hand curating the sounds and by hand parameterizing the algorithms and by hand mastering the output. I want that empathetic connection with an artist. One of the beautiful things about music is that you have empathy with the artist. So when they sing about having a broken heart, you expect them to have a broken heart at some point. It's hard for an AI to have a broken heart. Empathy is a big part of music, and that connection between the artist and the fan is an important part of what we're trying to achieve. So for the professional, we give them the ability to create highly sophisticated, very tailored music while still enabling the curation of music for music enthusiasts like myself. To date, we have dozens of artists that have partnered with us to create music. And these are artists that have art at the heart. These are producers around the world who are sophisticated producers, DJs, and artists. Getting their stamp of approval was really important to us. It was important for us to love the music that came out of AIMI, but it was a much more important endorsement for us to get artists of this caliber to not only listen to AIMI, but to put their name behind the music experiences that we created in collaboration with them. So with these artists, we not only took their musical ideas, but we also worked with them to customize our algorithms to reflect their style. So we have algorithms now that capture a broad variety of musical styles, from ambient all the way up to techno. In addition to the algorithms themselves, we can parameterize those algorithms to change the way they take the listener on a journey. All of this is meant to reflect the artist's style. And in their words, Elka said, "I thought it was incredible. It exceeded my expectations." DJ Boring's quote was terrific. "I was so shocked and blown away." He said, it was like I didn't make this. Oh my God, I did make this. And he did make it. It's his musical ideas. It's his tuning of the algorithms. It's his expression using algorithms as his creative tool. It seemed to tap into my thought processes, a balance of innovation and imitation. Inspired me to approach creating music in a completely different way. That's a wonderful quote for us to hear. When we're inspiring artists to elevate their art form, then our technology is serving the purpose that we set out to do. Kalon said, "Often the least part of producing is arranging the track." And there's a lot of truth to that. Once you create the musical ideas, it's often tedious to take those musical ideas and turn them into a finished track. And that track is just one expression of many different ways that you can combine those musical ideas. And that's what AIMI makes a lot easier for the artist. The musical ideas turning into music can skip that tedious step. Manpower, who's a classically trained musician, said he was shocked. And one of the really important things that he said that I think is really important is that AIMI didn't lose the humanity that he tried to imbue into his music. In a way, he tried to deliberately trick the system by imbuing, as he said, a lot of melancholy and textured ideas into his music. Not only did AIMI preserve that, but it made it sound like he does. Marco Passarani was impressed by how much he's learning from AIMI. The combinations that AIMI explored taught him about his own music. Portable said, "The feeling of listening to his music on AIMI was truly exhilarating. It blew his mind." And Roska said, "The AIMI experience is amazing. It's a beautiful journey." And I love that statement, a beautiful journey, because that's what listening to music on AIMI is about. It's about going on a journey, guided by algorithms, crafted by artists. R. Roxy Moore had an interesting statement too, which is that electronic music and technology have always been interdependent. The birth of electronic music, by its name alone, is about technology. AIMI is the next evolution of technology for electronic music. So let's talk about that evolution. Generative music, which is where we started, is taking algorithms and sounds and turning them into music. The next step from that is creating personalized music. Now you take algorithms and sounds that are curated by an AI, and you create personalized music. And what that means is, if you imagine this large multidimensional space of sounds that Aimi has, literally tens of thousands of musical ideas from producers, all interrelated to each other based on features that we extract from all of these musical ideas. A subset of those musical ideas are going to be relevant to me, and that's going to be a different subset than is relevant to somebody else. And by interacting with the platform, it can learn about my expressed tastes. And through those learnings, it can curate the musical ideas that are relevant to me for a particular style of music. So Edward's house might be different than Greg's house, but they'll both be house music and relevant for each of us to listen to. The next step after that is artisan music. This is where we replace the automation with artist curation. So instead of the AI picking the loops, an artist can pick the loops. When you go to aimi.fm and you listen to the artist experiences on our platform, that's what you're listening to. Artists have hand-curated the musical ideas, hand-tuned the algorithms, so the expression is very clearly their artistic expression. So to better understand Aimi, it's worth digging into the lexicon a little bit. At its heart, Aimi has an operating system called AMOS. This is the Aimi Music Operating System. And this is a full-featured media engine. It does mixing, it does sound effects, it has spatialized audio in it. It has everything that you need to take sounds together, mix them, and create music. That operating system is manipulated by a programming language we invented called AimiScript. It's a JavaScript-based programming language, and it's a full-featured programming language. So you could literally create a symphony using AimiScript. Now, we started with electronic music, but you could take AimiScript into any genre of music. AimiScript directs the mixing of what we call themes inside of the music operating system. A theme is like an audio file, except it has metadata associated with it that has been created by our machine learning. When we analyze a loop, we create hundreds of features for that loop. These are all vectors in our neural net. And from any given musical idea within our neural network, we can identify other musical ideas that are in proximity to it based on a variety of different vectors. It could be similarity in sound. It could be similarity in MIDI. It could be similarity in tags. We extract tags such as whether something is vocal, whether something is synthetic or organic. We know what key the music is in. We know what BPM it's in. And this is all extracted from the raw audio using our machine learning. So these themes are created with metadata, and the algorithms then drive off of the metadata. So rather than directly manipulating audio files, the algorithms are able to operate at a much more sophisticated level because they're interacting with the features associated with the audio. And this is where you can get this sophisticated expression of music on our platform. What ties this all together is a score. So a score is essentially code for a particular style of music, let's say house, and configuration for those algorithms. So we have scores for a half dozen to a dozen different styles of music: ambient, lo-fi hip-hop, techno, melodic house, deep house. Each of these has a set of algorithms and some parameters for those algorithms for that particular style of music. Maybe with house music, there's more builds and more drops. Maybe with ambient music, you only have a specific set of instruments operating at any given time, a little slower progression through the music. Scores are essentially a high-level way of expressing musical styles in Aimi parlance. An experience is what I, as a consumer, am going to listen to. An experience is a combination of these themes, a score, which is the instructions for how to mix those themes together, and preferences specific to me. So you can think of an experience as a section in this multidimensional space of musical ideas that we have. And Aimi and the algorithms take you on a journey through this multidimensional space, constantly exploring different combinations of musical ideas, different effects, and different ways of expressing the sound that is represented by the combinations of those ideas. And that's why whenever you hit play on AIMI, you don't hear the same thing twice. A small number of musical ideas can create a profound amount of music because the combinatorial possibilities are nearly infinite when you get enough content together. Quick overview on how we approach our business. The basic user account type that we have is free. And this is an interesting element of our business model because it's pretty unique. We don't charge for music. We're not in the content business. We don't sell music. You can go to Aimi.fm and hit play and it's free. It's continuous music and it's commercial free and it's uninterrupted. You can download our app and hit play and it's free there as well. Generative music on Aimi will always be free. And it's perfect for casual listening because casual listeners ultimately want to just hit play. They don't want to be bothered with commercials or interruptions. And oftentimes casual listeners don't want to pay for music. There's an abundance of music out there available for free regardless. You can go to YouTube and hit play too. What we do charge for is being able to interact with our algorithms. So if you download our app and you want to interact with our algorithms and customize the music that you're listening to, there's a premium fee for that. By interacting with our algorithms, you also instruct our platform on how to personalize music for you based on your expressed interactions directly with the music as it's being composed. This is perfect for music enthusiasts who are willing to put the effort in to have something specific to their tastes, and they're willing to pay for it. And in this case, not only do they get to personalize the music and interact with it, but because of the way we've created the interfaces to our technology, it's fun. And you actually start learning about music composition while you use the application. We also have a pro account for musicians, producers, anybody who wants to take over the curation and parameterization of these experiences. When I'm a premium subscriber, the more I use the app, Aimi will be better instructed at creating personal experiences for me, or I can go listen to experiences created by artists who can use their own musical ideas or use musical ideas from other artists on the platform. We've created an innovative loop explorer that allows you to browse through all the loops in our system through this multidimensional vector space that we have. So instead of looking at lists of files, you can instead traverse this multidimensional space and go from sound to sound based on features that are relating those sounds together. And you can collapse this n-dimensional space into 3 dimensions on any vectors that you want, even 1 dimension if you want. This allows you to find content based on the things that matter rather than file names or the key it might be in or the BPM it might be in or who the producer was for it. So we're providing Aimi into 3 different segments. The first is consumer, which is what we're launching today. You can go and listen to Aimi now on Aimi.fm, and you'll be able to download our app in beta today. We call our app an interactive music player because it allows you to interact with the music being created in real time. As I mentioned before, listening to music on Aimi is free, and during the beta period, the interactive features will all be free as well. In South by Southwest, we're going to release the public version of this, and that'll then introduce the premium subscription fee. We'll announce the pricing for that at South by Southwest. All of the premium revenue that we make is rev shared with artists that have created musical ideas on our platform. So whenever a musical idea is played in Aimi, it gets recorded in a cryptographically secure ledger that we maintain. At the end of the month, we know how much revenue we've generated. We know exactly what time quantum every musical idea represented, and we're able to fairly pay all the producers for the use of their content. And your content is going to get used based on the features associated with it, based on its musicality and its appropriateness for a specific user, not based on popularity. This essentially democratizes the way music is created, but it does it in a way that still makes beautiful music. The other segment that we're providing Aimi into is online. We have some exciting announcements that we're going to be making in the next month, where we're providing Aimi as a service to social media platforms and to gaming companies. And the way this works is we've created a web service called Aimi Live. The Aimi Live web service is actually what powers Aimi.fm. It's essentially a web service that is accessible via API. So if you're a social media platform, you can essentially plug our generative music directly into your social media platform. And because we don't charge for generative music, this is available for free to social media platforms and the gaming platforms. If you're a user of that platform and you want to customize the music that you're listening to or that you're making available to other people, you can sign up for our premium service and create customized music that you then have access to on those platforms. For gaming, we actually offer another option, which is to use our media engine as the media engine in the game. This allows our client to be embedded directly in the gaming client, which allows a whole new level of interactivity. We'll be launching some virtual concerts in the metaverse on gaming platforms where our concert will be generatively driven, not just the music, but also the avatar. And because it's being created in-game, the characters in the metaverse will be able to interact directly with that music and with the avatar. At South by Southwest, we're going to be launching AIMI for Brands, which allows brands to access AIMI's generative music within their premises. And as in the consumer and the online spaces, the generative music is available for free. And if you're a brand that wants to program or access our API and our algorithms, there's a premium service for that. This will allow you to tailor the music that's being played in your physical premise based on time of day. You'll be able to schedule what plays when. And you'll also be able to tie our algorithms into environmental parameters, such as ambient noise level in the room, sales per hour on your cash register, lighting, or whatever other interactive environmental variables that you want. Okay, so I'm going to give a demo now for our interactive music player. We're also doing a demo of this hands-on in the tech lab, in the gear lab. So if anyone wants to get a closer look, feel free to jump in there. At the Gear Lab, we'll also be demoing our multidimensional loop explorer. This is a really cool system that lets you navigate this universe of sounds that we have using features that have been extracted by our machine learning models. We'll also show our parameterization demo, which will give you, if you're a producer, a sense for all of the control that you have over our system. And then we'll also show our producer portal, which is how you upload musical ideas into AIMI, and you'll see the features and the various elements of the audio that are converted into metadata that we're able to use with our algorithms. Okay. So this is our interactive music player. And this is designed as a consumer app for effortless listening and for music enthusiasts. If you want effortless listening, you can just open the app, hit play. We're listening to an experience called Organica right now, which is ethno house inspired. We've worked with producers around the world to create the content that you're hearing right now. The algorithms are tuned for this particular style of music, and it'll play forever. So if I'm at work and I just want some background music, I can just hit play on this. This is not your traditional AI music. This is really good music. This is not an approximation of anything. This is sophisticated algorithms created by and with producers that explore the musical combinations and the musical ideas to create what you're listening to right now. I can dig into this too and see what's happening. Maybe I don't understand music at a very sophisticated level. I can actually learn from this app about what's happening. So, oh, interesting. Okay, so that's a harmony. I never really understood the difference between harmony and melody. But honestly, that sounds kind of bugging me. So let's just back it off a bit. Okay, that's much better. Maybe I'll swap those beats out for another set of beats. It'll swap them out once the appropriate time in the music comes along. I also have the ability to interact with the music at a higher level. This progression slider will change the rate at which AIMI explores musical ideas. So if I move it to the left, it'll slow down the rate of change. This allows me to stay in a groove longer, but maybe I like to go through the musical ideas faster, so I can move it to the right. The intensity slider will impact the different effects that we apply, like low-pass filters and high-pass filters. It'll also affect the way we apply gain to various elements in the music. The texture slider will favor organic instruments or synthetic instruments. Now these effects don't apply immediately because Amy has to find the right point for it to be musically appropriate to introduce these changes. So we never let you really create bad music using this app. Now if you're a producer, we give you enough rope to hang yourself, but that's what you want. You want artistic control. Let's take a look at our house experience. So we have quite a few producers that have participated in the creation of this. You can see here we're in a pre-intro section right now. And as it evolves through that, it'll then jump to the next section. So you start to understand how composers think about music. One of the things I like to do with the house experience is to show how vocals work. So because I can change the rate at which Amy is going to explore musical ideas, I'm going to move it all the way to the right to make it explore musical ideas faster. See what section we're in here. So we're still in the intro section. Let's see what comes after this. Okay, we're in a breakdown build-up now. So this will keep exploring different sections of music. Each section has its own idea about what kind of musical ideas to use. And there's probabilities of going from different sections to different sections. As an artist, I have control over that. I can dictate which sections are going to be included in my experience, what the probabilities are for going from one to the other. I'm going to move the vocal slide over to the right now to heavily bias the system towards vocal loops. So if we're in a section where vocals make sense, Amy will start to pull those in more. Now, I personally don't like vocals when I listen to music, especially when it's in the background for me. Greg loves vocals. And the beauty of this is that we can both be happy using this app, even though we're staying true to the original artist's intention with this experience. I'm happy to take some questions if anyone has questions.
Listening to what you're saying, I presume that AI was looking to sort of create something perfect, something, as you say, beautiful,
right?
By its own definition. Is there any room for non-beautiful stuff?
Yeah.
And how does that work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So you're right, the AI is safe. So the curation of musical ideas is safe because it's targeted at the mass consumer. As an artist, you can remove all the automation and hand curate both the loops, the musical ideas that are used, and the way the musical ideas are parameterized, the algorithms are parameterized. So you get complete control. That's what we call an artisan experience. An AI-curated experience is safer by definition. So both have the possibility to coexist. If you're inclined to write code, you can actually get into Amy's script and muck with the script, the algorithms themselves that impact the way those musical ideas are combined.
And that's a feature that's available. Or is that like available for you as a developer?
It's available for developers right now that we work closely with. But during South by Southwest, we're going to announce all of our creator tools, which include the ability to modify the underlying scores. Yep.
I have a question about the recording with this music. Like, is it possible for the user to actually record these tracks for them to use by themselves, or is there any copyright issues with Amy, to be precise?
There's no copyright issues with listening to Amy, but we don't authorize the recording of what comes out of Amy yet.
But if it's different every time, how do you identify that was like came from Amy? It's really hard for you to actually detect that kind of activity.
Yeah, look, we're not a police force, so if you're going to record Amy and publish it, then you're violating the terms of service. We're not in the business of trying to police that. But when you play Amy, we are tracking all the musical ideas that are being consumed, and we're fairly rewarding the artists that created those musical ideas. We are going to provide a way to output music from Amy. And we're working through the business model for that, but likely the way that'll work is artists can set a price per minute or per second for the use of their musical ideas when music is outputted. And that's where you can define what your value is for your music.
that's a good idea. And also, I have another question. Like you said, you were working with a gaming company.
Yep.
May I ask, like, what kind of gaming might get involved with this kind of interactive music? Because what you were describing with Avatar and things like that, the most famous one is Fortnite at this moment, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering what kind of music company, gaming company that you're getting involved, that you guys are trying to get involved with at this moment?
All of those typical characters. We can't announce that yet, but there's two solutions that we provide. One is as an actual audio engine that can do generative music in-app. So if the game needs music to change when you turn a corner and there's something exciting,
I think that's more like video inspired.
Correct.
And another one is like more internet video.
That's right,
internet.
metaverse,
Yeah,
essentially.
okay.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
correct. Got it. Anyone else?
This is super cool, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm a consumer on all levels. But my question for you is actually on the business side a little bit more. It seems like what you guys are doing is very unique. Do you have any competitors right now?
Honestly, the playlist is a competitor.
I was going to say, like you said, some of this stuff is like what Spotify might be able to do for you, right?
Yeah, we really see the category for effortless listening as something that all the DSPs are trying to move to. They're trying to move to playlists. They're trying to move away from you picking a song and playing it. And part of the reason for that is people don't play a whole song, but they have to pay the license for it regardless. So you're playing 30 seconds of a song, you get to the break and you pop to the next one. So we don't see them as competitors, to be honest. In fact, we're going to provide music to the DSPs. We have the ability to stream generative music to any medium, as I said before. So we don't see them as a competitor.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's unique in that sense. You said you're the CEO and founder?
That's correct.
What was your original inspiration to do this then?
Well, look, I'm a technologist, I'm not a musician. And watching musicians make music, it just struck me how much tedious effort there is in it that could be accelerated with algorithms. And it was more about algorithms than it was about AI. It wasn't, hey, let's take AI and approximate what a musician does. We don't believe in monolithic AI. So we're not trying to create like a dolly that you feed it a bunch of music, train it, and then out comes music again. And for music, interestingly enough, there's a significant question about whether you can train a neural net on copyrighted material or not. We don't do that. There's no training of copyrighted material in AIMI. Our neural net is used for the selection of musical ideas that are fed into our algorithms, not the creation of music to approximate stuff that it's been trained on.
Yeah, amazing. One last question too. As an artist and someone who knows a lot of touring artists, the art of production can be very cumbersome when you're on the road and doing all these things.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, once you release that to the world, it's probably going to spark some seriously incredible music. So I love what you're doing here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
It's great.
absolutely.
Terrific. Cheers.
That's very
No.
Anyone else?
I wanted us to come, and I was like,
You answered my question on the last part with not training.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my question was around publishing, but you answered it.
Okay, terrific.
Yeah.
Great.
Hello, actually I'm super impressed by the app, completely the app experience, and me being in the design and music business altogether, I'm just curious about like the art. I can see a section called Artists for You.
Yep.
That means that artists might have fit some of the musical ideas into it. So is it like the platform is going towards something like, can I ask, what if Dixon collaborates with Afrojack and what that sounds like? Is this the root of the app, or is it already available?
So when you think of an experience in AIMI, it's devoid of knowing where the musical ideas came from. So if the AI curates an experience for me, it can come from dozens of different artists. We also enable artists to use musical ideas from other artists. And because everything is democratized, there's really no reason not to. You can use beats from here, paths from there, melodies from here, and create new experiences. And we actually think that there's a curation step where a lot of DJs who have a brilliant ear for what things go well together can succeed on this platform as curators. They don't have to make any sounds. They can curate and publish experiences using the sounds that other producers have created.
That answers the question.
Great. Awesome. Gear Lab, all the demos are there. Thank you everyone for coming. Really appreciate it.